Why is it that the more we try to control life, the more powerless we feel? You seek out the ancient quotes, searching for peace, but the anxiety, the anger, and the fear always seem to return, gnawing at your soul. The truth is, most of that suffering isn't something forced upon you. It is a choice. It is the second arrow that you shoot at yourself. In this video, we will expose that truth. We will decode nature's contract and learn how to build an inner citadel, a fortress of peace that no external event can ever breach. If you are ready to stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the true architect of your own fate, let's begin. Friends, let us now begin to analyze and contemplate these first sayings, which may seem bleak. Birth is suffering, old age is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering. To live is to be joined with what one dislikes and separated from what one loves. Even pleasure is a form of suffering because it is temporary. The 5 aggregates form feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness. Suffering, when clung to, even in the highest heavenly realms, existence is temporary and subject to falling. To expect a life without discomfort is the first mistake. These 6 statements, varnished mirror, reflecting the reality of the human condition. Many read these lines and feel a burden of pessimism. They say, this philosophy is so cynical, but the Stoic practitioner smiles and nods. This is not a curse, it is a diagnosis, and no cure can begin without an accurate diagnosis. For us who follow the path of Epictetus, this is nature's contract, the terms and conditions of the game called life that we all signed at birth. Birth is suffering. Old age is suffering. Sickness is suffering. Death is suffering. The East calls this suffering dukkha. Western Stoicism, through the words of Epictetus, would say it is not these things themselves that disturb us, but our judgment about them. Let us dissect this. Birth places us in a physical body, a beautiful but finite biological machine. This body adheres to the laws of physics and time. Aging is not a tragedy. It is evidence of time past a natural process of this machine's operation. Sickness is the unavoidable interruption of its function, and death is the necessary return of this machine to nature, logos, to the universe that lent it to us. The suffering does not lie in aging. It lies in the fear of aging, in the denial of aging, in the judgment that a wrinkle is bad and youth is good. The Stoic does not seek to avoid aging, sickness, or death. That is madness, for it lies outside our control. The dichotomy of control. Instead, our goal is to age with virtue. Be sick with virtue and die with virtue. We seek to age with wisdom, face illness with courage, and greet death with tranquility, as Marcus Aurelius did. This truth is not meant to break you. It is meant to free you. It tells you, do not waste a single moment worrying about the inevitable. Focus on the only thing you can control, how you respond to them. To live is to be joined with what one dislikes and separated from what one loves. Again, this is a perfect description of a life dominated by externals. The Stoic would ask, why do you hate something outside your control? And why do you love in the sense of clinging something you can lose, joined with what one dislikes? This could be an irritating colleague, a stifling job, a political situation. To the Stoic, this is not suffering. This is the soul's gymnasium. That colleague is your training partner for patience. That job is your opportunity to practice integrity. Epictetus said, view every difficulty as a wrestler views his opponent. It is your opportunity to grow stronger, separated from what one loves. This is the harder part, is it not? It is the loss of a loved one, the loss of health, the loss of property. The pain is real. We are human. Seneca acknowledged this. But suffering is another layer we add to that pain. Suffering comes from our judgment. This should not have happened. I cannot live without it. Stoic philosophy teaches us amor fati, the love of fate. But before reaching that, we practice the reserve clause, hypexeresis. We love our family, we value our health, but we always add a small addendum in our minds, as long as nature permits. We love fiercely, but we do not cling. We cherish, but we do not possess. It is as if we are borrowing a precious item from the universe, caring for it diligently, and being ready to return it when it is due, with gratitude, not resentment. Even pleasure is a form of suffering because it is temporary. This Eastern saying is the core of the third Stoic virtue, temperance. Stoics are not ascetics who deny joy. We do not hate wine, good food, or friendship. These are preferred indifference. We enjoy them when they are present. But the suffering the Buddha speaks of here is the anxiety that accompanies the pursuit of pleasure. It is the fear when pleasure is about to be lost, and the emptiness when it has truly passed. It is when we turn a preferred indifferent into a condition for our happiness. The Stoic enjoys a fine meal, but their happiness does not depend on it. If the meal is good, they enjoy it. If the meal is bad, they accept it. If there is no meal, they endure hunger with equanimity. Their joy comes not from the thing, the food, but from their action, eating with temperance, gratitude, and reason. This saying is a reminder: never place your happiness in something that can be taken away. Pleasure is an enjoyable guest, but never mistake it for the master of the house. The master of the house is your reason and your virtue. The 5 aggregates form feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness, are all sources of suffering when clung to. This is a masterful psychological analysis, and it resonates deeply with the Stoic dichotomy of control. Form, rupa, my body. It can age, sick and tire. It is outside my complete control. Feeling, vedana, sensations, pain, pleasure. These are biological signals. They arise automatically. They are also outside control. Perception, sanya, the initial impression. It's raining. How awful. The boss yelled, how humiliating. These are automatic reactions. Mental formations, sankhara, mental habits, prejudices, consciousness, vijnana, the capacity for awareness. The Buddha said that clinging to them is suffering. The Stoic says the same thing. The greatest error of humankind is to identify ourselves with these things. You are not your body. You have a body. You are not your pain. You experience pain. You are not your initial impression. You have impressions. What are you then? For the Stoic, you are your ruling faculty, hegemonikon, your capacity to choose to judge and to give assent. The body form sends a pain signal feeling. The mind immediately has an impression perception that this is terrible. At this point, most people stop and identify with it. They become the pain. But the Stoic, and also the practitioner of the Buddha, is trained to create a pause. They observe that impression and ask, impression, are you truly terrible? Or are you just a sensation? And terrible is a judgment. I have added, clinging is the collapse of that pause. Liberation, or the Stoic apatheia, tranquility, is the firm maintenance of that pause and the selection of one's own judgment, a judgment based on reason and virtue, not on immediate reaction. Even in the highest heavenly realms, existence is temporary. To expect a life without discomfort is the first mistake. These two statements are a sharp slap to our illusions. They are a dose of memento mori. Remember you will die, and premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Even if you achieve everything you desire, become an emperor like Marcus Aurelius, become the richest, the healthiest, that heavenly realm is also temporary. Everything obeys the laws of nature, the laws of change. To place your happiness in a temporary heaven is to set yourself up for inevitable disappointment. Therefore, these two statements offer the most practical advice. Do not expect a life without discomfort. This is the starting point for every Stoic. We begin the day by contemplating, today, I will meet ungrateful people, arrogant people, deceitful people, tiresome people. We do this not to become cynical, but to inoculate our minds. When discomfort occurs, the ordinary person is shocked. They cry out, "Why me? This shouldn't be happening." The Stoic, when discomfort occurs, merely nods. Here it is, just as predicted. This is my opportunity. To expect a life without discomfort is a mistake because it robs us of our greatest opportunity for growth. Discomfort, friction, adversity. This is not a bug in the universe. It is a feature. It is the chisel and hammer nature uses to sculpt us into a work of art if we allow it. It is the fire that refines gold. Friends, these first 6 truths are not a death sentence for happiness. They are a liberation from the irrational expectations that have poisoned us. They tell us, this game is hard. The rules are strict. Everything is temporary. Pain is unavoidable. And the Stoic stands tall, takes a deep breath, and replies, "Good. Now I know the rules of the game. I cannot change the rules, but I can play this game with maximum skill, courage, and dignity. I cannot control the cards I am dealt, but I can play this hand excellently." This is the first and most crucial step to look reality squarely in the face without flinching. Only by accepting the reality of suffering, dukkha, as a fundamental condition of nature, logos, can we begin to build our inner citadel on a foundation as solid as rock. The diagnosis is complete. It is time now to delve deeper into the cause of the illness, not the world, but our very own minds. Ignorance, avidya, is the poison. The illusion of control is one of the greatest sources of suffering. The origin of all suffering is attachment and craving. All the treasures on earth cannot satisfy a single craving. The desire for existence is a form of suffering, just as the desire for non-existence. Ignorance, avidya, of the true nature of reality is the poison. Every human tragedy begins here. Ignorance. This is the original sin. But ignorance here does not mean a lack of book knowledge. A person can have 3 doctoral degrees and still be completely ignorant. The ignorance the Buddha spoke of is precisely what Socrates and Epictetus called amartya, an error in judgment. It is the disastrous confusion about what is good, what is bad, and what is indifferent. The ignorant person believes money, fame, power, and health are good. Poverty, sickness, and criticism are bad. And the Stoic and the Buddha both look at this confusion and say, no, this itself is the poison. Why? Because all the things you have just called good or bad are externals, things outside your complete control. When you assign the label good to something you can lose, you have voluntarily handed the keys to your inner citadel to the outside world. You have drunk the poison. What is the true nature of reality? It is the dichotomy of control. Queen Keemswat of Epictetus. Reality is divided into what we control, our judgments, intentions, choices, our virtue. What we do not control, everything else, our body possessions, reputation, the actions of others, the results of our efforts. Ignorance is when we live without distinguishing between these two. We try to control the uncontrollable, and worse, we ignore the one thing we can control. And what is the first symptom of this ignorance? The illusion of control is one of the greatest sources of suffering. And here, this is the open wound created by the poison of ignorance. Because we falsely believe that money is good, we develop the illusion that we must control our cash flow. Because we believe the approval of others is good, we harbor the illusion that we must control their thoughts about us. Oh, friend who is struggling, look back at your greatest pain right now. Does it not come from the fact that a reality, e.g., a broken relationship, a failed job, did not unfold according to your illusion of how it should have been? Your suffering is not proportional to the event, but proportional to the gap between reality and your illusion of control. A Stoic practices amor, fati, love of fate. We do not just accept reality, we love it. We love it because we understand that everything that happens is part of the great reason logos of the universe. Trying to impose the petty illusion of control of our small self onto the great flow of nature is like a drop of water trying to command the ocean where to flow. It is arrogance, and that arrogance is always punished by suffering. When you abandon this illusion, you do not become passive. Oh no, you become incredibly powerful. You transfer 100% of your energy from trying to control the outcome, the impossible, to controlling your effort, your intention, and your response, the possible. This is freedom. But what if we do not abandon this illusion? We develop the next disease. The origin of all suffering is attachment and craving. Attachment, bomb chap, and craving. Tam-I, these are the Eastern names. Their Stoic names are false value judgments and pathological passions. Pathos. Craving is the inevitable consequence of you calling an external thing good due to ignorance. Attachment is the inevitable consequence of you harboring the illusion that you can control and hold on to it due to the illusion of control. This is how it works. 1. Ignorance. You judge getting this promotion is good. 2. Craving. You begin to desire it. Your mind becomes obsessed with it. 3. Control. You believe that if you do X, Y, and Z, you must get the promotion. Attachment. You cling to that outcome. Your happiness becomes that promotion. Now watch the tragedy unfold. If you do not get the promotion, you suffer immensely. It's unfair, you scream. Why? Because reality has shattered your illusion of control. If you do get the promotion, are you happy? Yes, for a week. But now you ignorantly judge getting the next promotion is good. The craving begins anew. Do you see there is no exit on this path? Attachment is the act of saying to the universe, I know better than you. My happiness requires the world to bend to my will. This is a declaration of war on reality. And in that war, we always lose. What does the Stoic seek? Not ataraxia, tranquility by escaping, but apatheia, the absence of pathological passions. Pathos. Apatheia is achieved not by having nothing, but by not clinging to anything that is not your own. Virtue. I love my wife, but I practice the thought that I could lose her at any moment, as Seneca wrote. This does not make my love weaker. It makes it stronger and more present. I love her today, right now, completely, because I do not cling to an unpromised tomorrow. All the treasures on earth cannot satisfy a single craving. This is the truth of the third Stoic virtue, temperance tiet do. This statement exposes the absurdity of craving. It is like trying to fill a bottomless barrel. Craving is not a need to be met, it is a disease to be cured. Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who had all the treasures on earth, what did he write in his private journal? He did not write about conquests or wealth. He wrote about the struggle to get up in the morning, the annoyance of sycophants, the brevity of life. He recognized that his wealth was merely an indifferent thu dung dung. It did not make him better, nor did it make him worse. The Stoic is not an ascetic. Seneca was a wealthy man, but he practiced intentional poverty. He would often wear rough clothes, eat simple food, and sleep on the floor to remind himself, I can live without these things. I do not need them. Do they own me, or do I own them? O friend who is tired of chasing material things, pause for a moment. Craving is telling you just a little more, and then we will be happy. Philosophy tells you happiness is not getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you have. Or even higher happiness is wanting what nature logos brings you, whatever that may be. If you do not cure the disease of craving, you are the poorest person in the world, even if you own all of it. The desire for existence is suffering just as the desire for non-existence. This saying is profound. It attacks the last two forms of attachment, the attachment to life and the attachment to death, annihilation. Craving for existence. This is the craving we just discussed, for fame, pleasure, eternal life. We fear death, fear loss, so we cling desperately. Craving for non-existence. This is the opposite side of the same coin. This is the cry of despair. It is when a person says, I cannot bear this pain anymore. I want it all to end. Why are both suffering? Because both are a rejection of the reality of the present moment. Both stem from the same false judgment. What is happening externally? Pain, loss, emptiness is unbearable. Bad. And the person craving existence tries to flee the present for a better future. The person craving non-existence tries to flee the present for a state of nothingness. Both are slaves. They are both controlled by external events. The Stoic seeks a third path. It is not to run, it is to stand firm. We do not seek to change the external circumstance, neither to prolong it nor to end it. We seek to practice virtue within that circumstance. Are you in extreme pain? Good. This is your opportunity to practice courage. Are you being betrayed? Good. This is your opportunity to practice forgiveness and justice. Are you facing death? Good. This is your opportunity to practice tranquility and wisdom. As Epictetus said, do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Instead, want things to happen as they do happen, and you will find peace. So we have found the culprit. The culprit is not your boss, not the economy, not your illness, and not fate. The culprit is our ignorance, which gave birth to the illusion of control. This illusion, in turn, nurtured craving and attachment. And that attachment, whether to life or to death, is the chain that binds us to the wheel of suffering. The good news, all of these culprits reside within you. They are entirely within your sphere of control. You cannot change the world, but you can change your judgments. You cannot extinguish the storm outside, but you can extinguish the fire of craving and ignorance within. The diagnosis is done. The identification of the cause is complete. Chapter 3. The Dance with the Flow of Impermanence. The Key to Freedom. Now I want to lead you to other precious truths. They are not new ideas, but different perspectives of the same truth. Everything flows. All conditioned, compounded things are impermanent. Clinging to them is suffering. Whatever has the nature of arising has the nature of ceasing. Nothing is fixed or permanent. Every emotion, every thought, every state is in flux, changing. Life is a constant vibration of arising and ceasing. Resisting this flow is the essence of suffering. The world is governed by death and decay. Therefore, the wise do not grieve. There is no permanent self or soul. Clinging to this illusion is the deepest ignorance. Heraclitus, a great sage who deeply influenced Stoic thought, said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice." Why? Because both the man and the river have changed. This is the Logos, cosmic reason. It is not a static entity. It is a process, an intelligent flow, an eternal fire that changes and creates. The East calls it Dharma or the Tao. We Stoics call it the reason of nature. The sayings in this group are descriptions of that flow. Let us read these 4 statements together. Everything is impermanent. What arises must cease. Nothing is fixed. Life is a vibration of arising and ceasing. They are singing a single epic. This is not a philosophical stance. It is a physical observation. Look at everything around you. The majestic mountain is eroding. Your healthy body is changing cell by cell. Your ecstatic happiness from this morning has given way to this afternoon's fatigue. Joy and sorrow flow through your mind like clouds in the sky. This is the first and greatest truth of the universe. Nothing exists, only change occurs. And now, resisting this flow is the essence of suffering. There it is. This is the most precise definition of attachment. What is attachment? It is the insane act of standing in the middle of a rushing river and trying to hold back a specific body of water with your hands. It is the act of trying to freeze a moment in time. When do you suffer? When you try to cling to youth, resisting the flow of aging. When you try to cling to a relationship that has reached its end, resisting the flow of change. When you are angry that it is raining, resisting the flow of weather. When you are desperate because of sadness, resisting the flow of emotion. You want only joy, forgetting that sadness too must arise and cease. O friend who is struggling, listen to this. Your pain, your failure, your despair, they are also conditioned things. They have the nature of arising. Therefore, they must have the nature of ceasing. Your pain is not permanent. It cannot be. The universe does not allow it. Its very nature is to flow. Impermanence is not your enemy. It is your greatest guarantor. It guarantees that no night is eternal. The Stoic does not seek to fight this flow. We seek to love it. We call this amor fati, love of fate. We don't just accept the flow. We say, yes, bring it on. Show me the next lesson. We do not try to hold water in our hands. We learn to swim or build a raft. The world is governed by death and decay. Therefore, the wise do not grieve. This sentence is the most practical application of the law of impermanence. It is memento mori. Remember, you will die. The modern world teaches us to hide from the truth of death and decay. We fear it. But the ancients did the opposite. The Stoic contemplates it daily. Why do the wise, the sage, not grieve? Because grieving death is as irrational as grieving the setting of the sun. It is part of the order logos. The tree must return its leaves to the soil for spring to sprout. Our bodies must return their elements to the cosmos. When you accept the truth of death and decay, three wondrous things happen. You stop fearing. You no longer waste energy worrying about the inevitable. 2. You start living. Knowing time is finite, you stop wasting it on gossip, petty hatreds, or procrastination. You will love more completely. You will work with more integrity. 3. You find tranquility. You realize that loss is the natural counterpart to having. You are grateful for what you have right now because you know you are borrowing it from nature. The wise do not grieve not because they are unfeeling, but because they are understanding. They have synchronized their judgment with reality. They do not fight nature. There is no permanent self or soul. Clinging to this illusion is the deepest ignorance. This is the pinnacle of truth. This is the most difficult saying, but also the most liberating. If everything is impermanent, then what in us is I? The East calls this not self, anatta. The Stoics had a similar truth arrived at by a different path. Ask yourself, who am I? Are you your body form? Know it is changing and will one day decay. Are you your emotions feeling? Know they flow. You are not your anger. You are the one experiencing the anger. Are you your thoughts, perception, formations? No, they come and go. Are you your reputation, your job, your possessions? Even less so. Those are externals utterly impermanent. So this thing we call the self, the ego, this fixed, permanent I that we cling to, successful person, failure, person A, person B, it is just an illusion. It is a story we tell ourselves cobbled together from impermanent pieces. Clinging to this illusion is the deepest ignorance. Why? Because when you cling to that illusory self, you must defend it. When someone criticizes you, in reality, They are criticizing your illusion you suffer. When you fail in reality, the illusion of your successful self has crumbled you despair. My friend, this is the greatest liberation. You are not what happens to you. You are not even the story you tell about yourself. So where does the Stoic place value? We do not believe in a fixed self-ego, but we believe in one thing: the ruling faculty hegemonicon. This is your capacity to choose. You are not the anger, but you are the choice to act or not act on that anger. You are not the failure, but you are the choice to get up and learn from it. The true self of the Stoic is not a noun, a fixed thing. It is a verb, a process. It is the act of choosing virtue in each and every moment. This saying frees you from your past, "I once failed," and your future, "I fear I will fail." It leaves you with only one thing, the present moment and your choice right now. We have seen the truth. The universe is a great river flowing ceaselessly according to the laws of reason. Logos. Everything from galaxies to emotions, from our bodies to ourselves, is part of this dance of arising and ceasing. We have two options. One, resist suffering. We can build a dam out of our ego and attachments. We will spend our whole lives worrying, fearing, and in the end, the river of reality will sweep us away anyway. Two, align freedom, or we can accept the nature of the river. We use our reason to build a raft called virtue, courage, justice, temperance. We do not try to control the river, we try to control our raft. This is the truth that liberates you from the burden of the past and the fear of the future. It grants you supreme power in the present. And if reality is a flow and the self is an illusion, then where does our true power lie? It lies in the only place we have dominion, the mind. The world cannot touch you. I repeat, the world cannot touch you. It cannot touch your true self. It can tear your flesh, take your possessions, but it cannot touch your inner citadel unless you allow it. Mind leads all states. If you act with a defiled mind, suffering will follow you. We are what we think. With our thoughts, we create the world. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Your suffering is not caused by others. It is caused by your own reaction. The more you identify yourself with thoughts and emotions, the more you suffer. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Let us begin with two foundational principles. Mind leads, and we create the world. Verse 19. Mind leads all states is precisely the Stoic definition of the hegemonicon, the ruling faculty. It is the king, the commander-in-chief of the soul. Everything else, emotions, desires, actions, are its subordinates. What is a defiled mind? It is a king that makes false judgments. It is a king who is ignorant, as mentioned in chapter 2. And if the king issues the wrong command, money is good, loss is bad, then the entire kingdom that is your life will fall into chaos. Suffering will follow you. Is not a punishment. It is an inevitable consequence, like the wheel follows the ox that pulls the cart. With our thoughts, we create the world. This is not mystical idealism. The Stoic does not believe you think and a car appears. No. We create our world of experience. It is raining. That is the event. This is terrible. My day is ruined. Person A's world becomes terrible and ruined. Mind B judges, good, the plants need water, an opportunity to read a book. Person B's world becomes peaceful and tranquil. The event is one rain, but two completely different worlds have been created. By what? By thought, or more precisely by judgment. This is your greatest power. You are the architect of your experienced reality. So why do most of us live in worlds of suffering? The answer lies in the great confusion, the confusion between pain and suffering. This is the most liberating truth in all of philosophy. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Let me paint this picture, the parable of the second arrow. Pain, the first arrow. It is the event. You are fired. The doctor gives a bad diagnosis. You bump into a table. These are physical events or initial sensations, though they happen. They are inevitable, because they are part of nature logos. The second arrow. This is your judgment about the first arrow. This is the act of you with your own hand pulling out another arrow and shooting yourself. Why me? Second arrow. This is unfair. Third arrow. My life is over. Fourth arrow, pain is a nerve signal. Suffering is a story the mind tells. And the saying tells you, you cannot control the first arrow, but whether to fire the second arrow is entirely a choice, optional. What is the Stoic trained to do? To accept the first arrow with equanimity. An event has occurred. And then to use all their reason to refuse to fire the second arrow. Your suffering is not caused by others. Others can only fire the first arrow. They can insult you an event. They can act unjustly an event. But they cannot make you suffer. Suffering, anger, humiliation only occurs when you make an internal judgment. That insult harmed my ego. That injustice is unacceptable. Epictetus, a slave, said, "Someone can bind my leg, but not even Zeus himself can conquer my free will. They bound his leg pain, but he refused to believe that being bound is bad suffering. He chose to use that time to teach philosophy. He made a choice. The mechanism of error, identification. So why do we keep firing the second arrow? Why do we give our power away to others? The more you identify yourself with thoughts and emotions, the more you suffer. This is a masterful psychological analysis. Thoughts and emotions are just impressions, fantasiae, or guests passing through your mind. They flow as we have seen. The error identification. When a thought, e.g., "I failed at this," appears, you cling to it and say, "I am a failure." The error identification. When an emotion, e.g., a feeling of sadness, appears, you cling to it and say, "I am a sad person." You have confused the observer, your ruling faculty, with the observed, the thought, emotion. The Stoic practices what we call detachment from impressions prosoche. When a thought, emotion appears, we hold it at the gate of the citadel. We question it. Impression, who are you? Are you truly bad? Or are you just an event? You have a thought, but you are not that thought. You feel an emotion, but you are not that emotion. This space, the space between you, the chooser, and your thought, is precisely where freedom exists. The more you identify, the narrower that space becomes. The more you become a slave to every passing breeze of emotion. Finally, what happens when we fail at this? When we identify, when we fire the second arrow, you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. This is a masterpiece from Seneca. The world does not punish you. The universe logos does not punish you. The anger is the punishment. Why? Because when you are angry, what have you done? 1. You have abandoned your most precious possession, reason. You have become an animal. 2. You have handed the keys of your citadel to another. They made me angry. 3. You have destroyed your own inner tranquility. Apatheia. Anger is a temporary madness. Even if that anger helps you achieve an external result, making someone fear you, the price paid, the loss of inner reason and virtue, is far too high. This is true for every negative passion. Envy is the punishment. Fear is the punishment. They are the defiled mind, burning itself. These 6 sayings have exposed the mechanism of our inner prison. We create our world with our judgments. We confuse pain, inevitable, with suffering, a choice. We give our power to others because we identify with fleeting thoughts and emotions. And when we do so, we are punished by those very emotions. This might seem like bad news, but no, it is the best news you will ever hear. Why? Because if you are the one who creates the suffering, then you can also be the one to end it. All the power lies in your hands. Not in the hands of the government, not in the hands of your boss, not in the hands of the economy, nor in the hands of your illness. The power lies in your judgment right at this very moment. The sayings below which I wish to bring to you are the greatest declaration of freedom. They point to a single repeated truth. The way out does not lie externally. It lies within. Seeking happiness outside oneself is like chasing a shadow in a burning house. Whatever is not yours, let it go. Letting it go will bring you long-term benefit and happiness. The past is gone, the future has not yet come. There is only one moment for you to live the present moment. Those who escape thoughts of resentment surely find peace. Man is a prisoner of his own senses. Liberation is seeing the senses as they are. The only true victory is the victory over one's own mind. Nirvana is not a place but the complete extinguishing of the fires of greed, hatred, and delusion. Let us begin with a haunting image, seeking happiness outside, like chasing a shadow in a burning house. What is the burning house? It is the world of impermanence we saw in chapter 3. Everything is burning, decaying, changing, arising, and ceasing. What is the shadow? It is the stoic indifference. Money, fame, power, beauty. They have no real substance. They are shadows of other things. What is chasing? It is the craving we saw. This saying describes the tragedy of 99% of humanity. Spending one's entire finite life, the burning house, chasing insubstantial things, the shadows believing they are happiness. The Stoic calls this madness. Happiness, eudaimonia, is not a thing you pursue or acquire. It is a consequence. It is the consequence of a life lived according to virtue. So what is the solution? Whatever is not yours, let it go. This is the dichotomy of control condensed perfectly. What is not yours? Everything. Everything outside your ruling faculty, hegemonicon. Your body, not yours. You are borrowing it from nature. Your reputation, not yours. It lies in the minds of others. Your possessions, not yours. You cannot take them with you at death. Your family, not yours. They are free individuals. Also, in the flow of impermanence, letting go does not mean you become heartless, cold, or renounce the world. The Stoics' amor fati, love of fate, demands that you engage with the world. Letting go means you let go of attachment, let go of the illusion of ownership, and let go of assigning the judgments, good or bad, to them. You love your family more completely when you let go of the illusion that they will be with you forever. You work harder when you let go of your attachment to the outcome, the promotion, and focus only on the effort. Virtue. This is the discipline of choice. To choose only what is truly yours, your intentions, your judgments, your virtue. If we only own our choices, where and when do we execute them? The past is gone. The future has not yet come. Chi kama kwenkak duinyat. J foot hien tai. The only one moment. The present moment. This is the Stoic practice of prosoche attention. Our mind is a terrible time traveler. It constantly flees the present. It runs to the past to gnaw on regret and resentment. Verse 26. Thoughts of resentment. It runs to the future to worry and fear. Both are phantom lands, places where your power is zero. You cannot change the past. You cannot control the future. Wasting your reason. There is as futile as trying to breathe underwater. Your only power lies in the present. This is the only place you can practice virtue. But how those who escape thoughts of resentment surely find peace. Resentment is a judgment about the past. It is the judgment that should not have happened. The Stoic practicing amor. Fati says it happened. It is part of the logos. Complaining about it is as useless as complaining about gravity. Escaping it is not about forgiving them. It is about liberating you from drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Man is a prisoner of his own senses. This is the mechanism of the present moment prison. Your senses, eyes, ears, send impressions. Fantasia I. He is frowning. She is shouting. The prisoner. The ordinary person immediately identifies, as in chapter 4, with that impression. He hates me. She is evil. What is liberation? Seeing the senses as they are. This is the discipline of ascent of Epictetus. When the impression arrives, the Stoic creates a pause. They say, wait, impression. You are just an impression, not the truth you claim to be. Let me test you. He is frowning. That is a fact. He hates me. That is a judgment. A story I added. It could be true, or he could have a toothache, or he could be concentrating. Liberation is living in that pause. Liberation is separating the event from the story. Ultimately, where does all this lead? What is the goal of all this effort? The only true victory is the victory over one's own mind. And the world honors Alexander the Great for conquering the world. But the Stoic philosophers pointed out that he was a slave to his anger, killing his best friend in a drunken rage, and his fear of death. He conquered everything external, but failed to conquer the internal. Conversely, Epictetus, a crippled slave, was a true king. He had conquered his mind. He was free even while in chains. O friend who is struggling, the world may be defeating you on the outside. You may lose your job, your money, your health. Those are external defeats. But the only true victory, the victory of maintaining your integrity, your courage, and your reason, remains entirely in your hands. No one can take that victory from you. This is the victory a Stoic seeks. And when you are victorious, when you truly master your mind, Nirvana is not a place, but the complete extinguishing of the fires of greed, hatred, and delusion. And this is a perfect description of the Stoic goals, apatheia and eudaimonia. Nibbana is not a cloud in the sky. It is a psychological state. It is the extinguishing of the fire. What is that fire? Greed, Tam. The passions of desire. Craving for external things you judge as good. Hatred, San. The passions of aversion, fear, and anger at external things you judge as bad. Delusion. This is ignorance. Avidya, the false judgments. The root of the other two fires. Extinguishing these fires does not mean you become an unfeeling robot. Oh no. You still feel pain the first arrow, but you are no longer burned by suffering the second arrow. This state of apatheia, tranquility, is the state of the mind with the fires extinguished. And when the mind is tranquil, it can operate according to its highest function, reason. And a life lived according to reason and virtue is eudaimonia, an unshakable state of happiness and inner flourishing. We have completed the journey through these 30 truths. We began with a seemingly bleak diagnosis of suffering, but we end with a majestic declaration of freedom. The great philosophies of East and West, of the Buddha and Zeno, all converge on one point. The external world is an uncontrollable flow full of inevitable conditions. But your happiness and suffering are not determined by that flow. They are determined 100% by your internal judgments, choices, and responses. You are not a victim of fate. You are the architect of your soul. Adversity is not a punishment. It is an opportunity for you to practice courage. An insult is not an attack. It is an opportunity for you to practice patience. Loss is not a tragedy. It is an opportunity for you to practice detachment and gratitude Do not seek to change the world. Seek to change your mind. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray to be a stronger person. The torch has been passed. The inner citadel awaits its commander. Take up the torch of reason. Enter your fortress and begin the work. The only true war is the one within. Conquer it. The external world will not stop. The storms will come. The first arrow will always fly. But now you know the truth. You are not the victim of that arrow. You are the one who decides if the second arrow is fired. The only true victory is not conquering the world, but conquering the self. The fires of greed, hatred, and delusion can be extinguished. Your inner citadel is waiting for its commander. The work is not easy, but it is the only work that matters. What is one judgment you will choose to let go of starting today? Share your commitment in the comments below. If you found value in this journey, like this video and subscribe to continue mastering the mind. Your peace is in your hands. Use it wisely.